Here is the Venus and Pleiades alignment on 132 AD, just about um, 30, 35 years after John wrote the Book of Revelation. This is the full alignment right here, right in the midst of the seven stars. As you can see, it almost looks like a shield of David, something like that. If you zoom out, you can kind of see the stars illuminating around it, shining through the seven stars. It probably would be This would probably be at its brightest alignment right here. This would have been March 10th, 132 AD. This date was prophesied in the book of Revelation. So John told them to be ready and stand watch, waiting for this date. I believe this date was significant. And then you just back up 8 years at a time. You're going to see it slowly move away from the midst of the seven stars, but it kind of jumps around the seven stars. You'll see it in 116. There it is again in 116, lining up with there's Patmos, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, and Sardinia, or Sardis, I think it's called. So you have the seven stars aligning with the seven Pleiades, and the Venus, the Lamb, lines up with each one perfectly in sync. So let's go back, 8 more years to 108 to 100, and then you're going to see the amazing part is right when John wrote the Revelation in 92, and this is when Venus was first aligned with the Pleiades. There it is right there. So as you can see from the night view in the night sky, Venus is directly in front of the Pleiades, in front of the Patmos star. This is Patmos right here. So you have Patmos, Ephesus, where John is. So John is writing this, I believe, in 92 AD in March. I believe on March 9th. I believe he's seeing this in the stars in the sky, and he's cataloging the date. He's writing this, and then he's telling them that the alignment is going to come, so that they'll know when to wait for the sign of the Son of Man. And then you just jump. So they waited, in this case, about 40 years later. You'll see the sign of the Son of Man. So let's just start the clock right there. See, now it goes from Patmos to Ephesus, Smyrna, and it kind of lights up over Thyatira, and then it's lighting up Patmos and Sardia, and then there it is in 132, right in the midst of the seven stars. And then it will be, and then it kind of moves out of the seven. Then it lights up the last two stars at the tip of that tiny star right there is finally aligned with that one. So it goes through all seven stars in a period of, and there it is again. And then it's gone, and then it's out of the seven stars. So it only goes through this period. So 92 AD to about 148. So roughly about close to 56 years. A period of about 56 to 60 years. Does this alignment occur in this cycle? And this cycle occurs about every 235 years. So that's happening during the formation of the early church. They would have definitely recognized this sign in around 132. As you can clearly see, it's in the midst of the seven stars at this point only. The other alignments are close to the middle, but you can clearly, distinctly tell when it's in the exact middle every single time during every cycle. Now I can jump up to, of course, 365 AD, and we'll see the alignment again. There it is, 367, and there it is aligned again. So adding 235 to 132, you get 367, an exact number. So here's the alignment again in 367. Now, what's interesting about 367 AD is the actual date that the Bible was codified, with the Book of Revelation at the end. The modern Bible, the Book of Revelation was never even used in the Bible until this point. So I believe this marks the point of perhaps the beginning of the Revelation, the beginning of the countdown of the cycle. So Patmos is the first activation of John, and then I believe you have 8 more activations after that, or 7. But here is the 367 AD activation of this cycle, and in 367, in April of 367, or March, around Easter time, was when the Book of Revelation was first codified, and I can actually pull that up right here. It was in the Easter letter. On the 45th festal letter of Athanasius, of the 39th, written for Easter of AD 367, is a particular interest in regards to the biblical canon. So again, this is when the biblical canon was first established, the modern biblical canon. And coincidentally, the Book of Revelation was one of the main things included. Christian Bibles range. The second part is the Greek New Testament, containing 27 books, the 4 canonical Gospels, Acts of the Apostles, 21 epistles or letters, and the Book of Revelation being added to it at the end of the book. So the Book of Revelation is first canonized and officially put into the Bible in this letter in 367 AD. Nearly the exact date of this alignment of Venus and the 7 stars. So that's very significant to Christian history. So my initial clue was that these alignments are going to keep on having things that are significant within the Christian church, within Christian history. So this whole cycle of time is really interesting because it starts with Constantine. If you jump through 8-year periods, you end up at 351. 343. It's still in the Pleiades. 335. 327. So again, right there, it's just 2 years after the Council of Nicaea. It begins to enter into the Pleiades, and that's interesting. And I think 319. Somewhere in here is when Constantine actually saw the sign of the sign of the cross in the sky, which I believe signified this alignment as well. So I do actually believe Constantine was prophetically in his dreams seeing this symbol, this sign of the coming conjunctions of events in Christianity that he actually had a part in. So the Council of Nicaea occurred. This is an alignment 2 years after the Council of Nicaea. And then Constantine would, I think, still be alive at this time. 335, 343, all the way up to 367, when the Book of Revelation is canonized. So that's extremely interesting. That alignment in the biblical revelation, aligning to specific dates in history when the sign of the Son of Man is occurring, very pivotal time periods in the Christian church. And it's just going to keeps happening again and again. So we could go to I think 593, 594. There it is, and it's going to keep happening. 602 AD. Of course, just at the beginning of um, the Crusade, the Islamic empire begins expanding and conquering the region of Jerusalem, and during this whole entire alignment, this is during the entire um, Islamic empire rising up and expanding and taking on the Christian world. And then around 853, March 15th, 853 AD. And this just keeps going on and on. I mean, what I would do is just type in dates and just see what stood out in these particular periods of time, just to see what, because my curiosity was that it was Christian events going on. In 853 AD, a Byzantine fleet sacks and destroys the port city of Domitia. There's almost always events surrounding these days. You can add 235 to this and without fail. So 1,235. So 80, 88, 1,000. Yeah, 1088, and you're gonna get it again. Yep, there it is. It's right there, aligned perfectly, right in the middle. And 1088, I think, is significant. Yeah, here Pope Urban becomes Pope Urban II succeeds Victor III as the 160th Pope of the Catholic Church in Rome. So in 1088, you have this revolutionary Pope rising up, Pope Urban, really well known um, as the initiator of the Crusades. So here you have right here in 1088, Pope Urban rises to power in March 12th. So right here, he rises to power. 4 days later, um, you can see the alignment happening perfectly, and the initiation of the Crusades, um, as the previous two alignments represented the Islamic Empire rising up, and then perhaps Charlemagne and the papacy rising up, and then 1088 you have the initiation of the Crusades. So again, you have these events happening right on time, perfectly with in these alignments. It's really incredible, and you can just keep to adding 235 to this. Um, that's the alignment right there. So around March 18th, 1323. It's right in the middle again, 1323, March 18th. 1323 is Again, I'm not even going off any information. I'm just literally typing this stuff in, and you'll see, event after event, just taking place. I would guarantee something noteworthy is happening um, within the church. In the, of course, the next alignment, 1557, the death, the life and times of Martin Luther. So you're going to see the alignment occurring very close to the entire lifespan of Martin Luther. There it is in the middle. So we'll just jump back. It was in 1550. There it is in 1542. Let's go right back to the beginning of the Reformation. We're going to see Venus line up. 1517, right when Martin Luther nails the 95 Thesis. Literally 1 year later, to the date. I believe it was in March. I'm not sure, or no, it was on. I believe it might have been Halloween. So 5 months right before this alignment occurs, Venus coming into alignment with Patmos and the seven stars. And of course, the Reformation is taking place after this point, all through this entire cycle. The Reformation is happening, reforming Europe. It reaches its pinnacle in 1558. Martin Luther dies around that time. I'm not sure if it's exact, but he died in 1546. He was born in 1483, so he died in 1546, starting the Reformation, which went on for this entire alignment period, was really the thrust of the Reformation. The Reformation, of course, being a major, revolutionary movement within Christianity. So this is all happening in this, culminating event in Europe. So Martin Luther would have died in between an alignment. He actually died in 1546. So it was 1542 when it was aligned. He dies in 1546. And then the Reformation continues on as if his time had come. He had done what God intended to form the Reformation, and this period just keeps on going. And here you see it climbing back out of the Pleiades as the Reformation had fully taken off at this point. By about 1590, it's fully out of the Pleiades there at its last time in the Pleiades. So this is the thrust of the Reformation occurring during this alignment. Once again, right on point, 235. So you're going to go to about 1825, and we should see it again. There it is. This just doesn't stop. It keeps on. It always emulates this without fail. Let's go back. Let's see what's going on in time. During this alignment, after the Reformation, what came next? What big revolution came next? I'll give you a hint. The 1785, getting closer. Venus is in the Pleiades. 1777, Venus is just first coming into the Pleiades. 1776, the Declaration of Independence is signed. 1769, the events leading up to the Declaration of Independence, certainly having significance. 1777, George Washington he has the Valley Forge vision and dream on this in the 1777 to continue fighting and crossing the Delaware and fighting that battle where he saw the angel come down and give him a prophetic vision of America, and that would set the clock for later events. Fantastic. The exact timing, I can pull this up as well. Let's just put in 1777 and it'll come right up. American Revolutionary War, Battle of Assaponack Creek. American General George Washington's army repulses the British attack by Lieutenant General Charles Cornwallis in the second battle at Trenton, New Jersey. This is the famous American Revolution. It's happening. The heart of the American Revolution is literally happening in line with the stars, in line with the foundations of the Book of Revelation. 1777, March. Just less than a year after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the Revolutionary War. George Washington has a dream. Valley Forge prophecy. He has a prophetic dream in 1777 where he sees the angels. George Washington's prophecy, here it is, and this is in the winter, as you can see here, Forge, where he resolved to pass the darkest period where we had, I think, was when Washington, after several reverses, retreated to Valley Forge, where he resolved to pass the winter of 1777. I have often seen, so literally just a few months after this alignment, here in 1777, March 31st, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. The battle was waging on, and he retreats into the Valley Forge, where you get this prophecy. So this then begins the whole prophecy of America. He sees an angel come into the room, the first great peril. First great peril, the Civil War, or the American Revolution. The second great peril, the Civil War. And the third peril, where he says that America will be fully invaded. And I think the timing would align. Let's jump up 235 more years, and see where we're at. Let's go 1777 plus 235. I'm really excited at this point. 2012. Wow. That's pretty spooky. that brings us into our world now, our world today. That these perils would take place, and then the final trumpet would be blown, and America would be invaded. Here's the during this alignment, you're going to get the Civil War come to an end. Let's jump into the Civil War. Civil War takes place 1861 to 1865. So that would be pretty spooky if this is right within that alignment. 1809, 1817, or it happens right afterward. 1825. It's definitely leading up to it. And then Venus is out of the Pleiades. So it's going to, that alignment in 1777 sparks off the prophetic countdown of America, the completion of the American Revolution, the capturing of the final phases of America expanding and capturing different states, and becoming the United States of America, and 1830, and then finally the Civil War occurs in 1861 to 1865, so a 4-year period. Yeah, the Civil War occurs, and then it says that we all become a union once again through and I guess that would be kind of the beginnings of the Republican and Democratic Party working together at times and on different agendas. So let's go up to 2012 and see what happens. Oh, there it is, aligned again, 2012. I have to jump up a little bit. There it is. April 3rd, 2012. Oh, and it's getting closer in alignment to 2020. We all know what happened this year. We all know what went on this year. 2012, 2004, the Democratic government ran America for this entire period, for a period of 12 years straight, 2004 to 2016. 2012, 2004, 96, 1988, 1980. Right as America kind of entering into its modern day phases of culture and sort of being perhaps taken over from within. 88. 2012, we know what's happening. We know things were looking bleak in 2012. Things weren't quite lining up, for the American church, 2016, nothing there. 2020, it comes back again. The star rises again, the bright and morning star back in the midst of the 7 stars. By 2028, even higher up and into the midst. Climbs. 2036, it's going to be closer. And there's 2044, right in the middle, perfectly aligned in the middle. 4/4/2044.